Welcome to Python Turtle. This is a 60-minute live workshop. Today we're using the turtle to turn Python into instant visuals, lines, shapes, patterns, and a bit of interaction. By the end you'll have patterns from loops, click and keyboard control, and a simple animation loop. If anything breaks today, it's going to be usually one of the following. It'll be a missing main loop, indentation, or forgetting screen.listen. So open your editor, and there's many around. We've got Create with Code, Online Python, or Program Is. It's entirely up to you which one you code with. So let's do this. Okay, so here's our program, our first turtle program. We need to import the turtle to be able to use the turtle in our program. Then we assign screen to turtle.screen, so we have a screen pop up when we use the turtle, and our title is My First Turtle. T is assigned to turtle.turtle, and the shape is going to be a turtle too. The speed of the turtle is going to be 3, and then the turtle is going to go forward 100 pixels. And don't forget screen.main loop at the end. Pause the video, make sure that you've got this down accurately, and let's run the code. Let's code together again. We've imported the turtle again, and our screen is turtle.screen, and this will be a feature of all of our programs, and our screen title is Turtle Workshop. T is assigned to turtle.turtle again, and our turtle shape is a turtle again. You can keep these lines of code in if you want to. We've changed the speed to 5, so it's a little bit faster, and then we've got some basic moves. We can go forward 120, we can go left 90, we can go forward 80, and we can go right 45. Forward, left, forward, right, backward are all relative moves to the turtle. If we want to lift the pen up to move without drawing, we do t.pen up. T.go to minus 150 minus 50 jumps up from the center and moves to that position in the coordinates, and then t.pen down and t.circle then would draw a circle 40 pixels wide. Then we finish with screen.main loop to close it up. Why don't we run the code and see what happens? Okay, so you can see the turtle has drawn a forward line, it's gone left, and then he's gone all the way around right, and then he's jumped up, pen up, and gone and drawn a circle over here. This is really powerful now. Okay, let's move on to the next lesson. Okay, let's code together. If you just copy out the program, and then we'll be able to change some things as we go. These first 4 or 5 lines are exactly the same as before, and you can change some elements of this. The screen.title is turtle.workshop. You can change that. The turtle is assigned to T, and then t.shape is turtle. So we've got a turtle shape again, and the speed is 0. It's going to be very slow this time. And as we walk through, the heading reference is 0 degrees, which is right. 90 degrees is up, 180 degrees is left, and 270 degrees is down. As we go through the program, we've got T or turtle.pen up. We're going to get him to go to the middle or 0, 0 coordinates, and then we're going to be able to put the pen down. We're doing a for loop here. You notice how we've got a list which is 0, 90, 180, 270. We're going to set the heading to heading, and then we're going to get the turtle to go forward 120 and then backwards 120. And then beyond there, we can get the turtle to jump to coordinates, get him to get the pen up and go to 120, 60, and then pen down. And this time we're going to get the turtle to do a dot, which is size 12. And then we close the main loop like we should on every program. Here you can see this turtle has gone from the center 0 degrees back and forth, 90 degrees back and forth, 180 degrees back and forth, and then downwards 270 degrees back and forth. So in this next program we're going to use a for loop, and the for loop is going to draw a square for us with the turtle, and we've got the usual lines of code coming up before this. So we've got screen equals turtle.screen and screen.title is turtle workshop. T is assigned to turtle.turtle and the speed is going to be 6. It's going to be a little bit quicker. We start our for loop, for I in range, and we are going to do this 4 times. So these instructions, t.forward 120, t.right 90, are going to run 4 times, and let's run the code. Here you can see the for loop. The instructions inside have gone forward and then right 90 degrees, forward, right 90 degrees, forward, right 90 degrees, and then forward, right 90 degrees, and ended up back where we started. Let's move on to the next one. So for this next one, we're importing the turtle and we assign the screen to turtle.screen, and the screen title is Turtle Workshop again. So once we've done these lines of code, which are part of every program that we've created so far, we're going to assign sides to 6. The length is going to be 90 and the angle is going to be 360 divided by the number of sides. We're going to say for I in range for the number of sides, which currently is 6. We're going to go turtle forward and it's going to be the length, which is 90, and turtle right, which is the angle, which is going to be the 360 divided by the number of sides, which the angle looks like it's going to be 60. We're going to then close the screen main loop and we're going to run the code. If you need to pause at this point to be able to copy the code out, do that now. So as you can see within the for loop, we've got the turtle moving forward and then he's going right 60, forward, right 60, forward, right 60, forward, right 60, forward, right 60 until he ends up right back where he began. You can experiment with this by changing the number of sides and changing the length of the sides, so you can either make a bigger shape or a shape with more sides. Experiment, why not? So on this next program, what we're going to do, we're going to do the usual 4 or 5 lines of code before we create the for loop, and this time we're going to create a nice shape with the for loop by repeating a number of times. Rather than repeating 4 times, we're going to create a for loop that repeats 60 times, and the angle and the amount that he moves forward has changed significantly. So the turtle is going to go right 170 and forward 140 60 times, and you'd be surprised how quickly this goes. But we can change the speed. We can also change the number of times that the for loop runs. We can change the amount forward, and we can also change the angle that the turtle moves as well. We always finish off with screen main loop too. So, okay, let's run the code. So as you can see, our shape has changed significantly to a pretty amazing sort of shape, really. And what I'd like you to do is go in and start changing the angles and things and playing around with the length of the forward and the angle that it goes, and see what happens. I'm going to show you an example in a second. So here what you can see is I've changed the for loop to run 100 times. I've changed the forward amount to 700. Turtle is going to go right 150 each time it goes forward 700. He's also then going to go forward 10 and then left 5. Try and predict what you think the shape is going to look like before you run the code. Pause here if you haven't managed to copy the program. Have a play around with the turtle's speed and then we can run the code. Wow, what a shape! It looks amazing, almost like a tunnel sort of style shape. You can go back in and you can repeat the for loops as well. So you could get another shape over here using the go to function as well to get it to jump up, and then pen down and get another shape over here, a different style shape, change the angles, change the length, change the number of loops it does. The possibilities are starting to become endless with this. Let's move on to the next program. Okay, we're going to begin by importing Turtle, and in this program we are going to add the usual lines of code that we have done before, but we're going to add some functions in, and you'll see the functions shortly. But we're assigning t to turtle.turtle, and the speed is going to be 8, which is a little bit faster. The turtle pen color, which is a new function, is going to be black, and the turtle fill color is going to be deep sky blue, which, believe it or not, is a color in Python Turtle. We've got to begin by beginning the fill here, and then we must create a for loop in the range of 4 to create our square, going forward 140 and right 90, and then we must end the fill to then get the deep sky blue color that we were after. Moving forward, we're going to add a second shape to this, which we define pen up as a function, and we're going to go to 180 0 in coordinates on the screen. We're going to put the pen down, and then we're going to assign the color to be purple, and we're going to begin the fill and create a circle 60 pixels wide. We're going to end the fill like we have to after every color fill, and then we're going to close the screen main loop, and we're going to run the code and see what happens. Try and predict what's going to happen before you run it. So as you can see, our turtle has cleverly created a deep sky blue square with an outline of black. He's jumped up and gone to 180 0 in coordinates, and he's created our purple circle. What I'd really like you to do now is go and experiment with different shapes, different sizes and different colours, and I'll give you an example shortly. So what I've done, I've changed my turtle speed to 0 to make it a little bit quicker, and I've changed my for loop to 30. I've kept the number of pixels it goes forward to 140, but I've changed it to right 170 just to see what happens. I've also changed my fill color to orange and my outline to blue. Okay, I'm going to run the code now and see what happens. So it's a really interesting outcome. It's not quite worked out as I wanted it, but again, you can go back in and you can experiment, and you can put shapes over here. You can make triangles, you can make decagons. It's entirely up to you. Have a play around and then come back for the next part. So as you can see, I've already started off importing the turtle on this next session. We've got screen equals turtle.screen and the turtle workshop as the title. The turtle is the T, and the speed is 0, so it goes quite quickly. We're assigning the shape to a turtle this time, like we did in previous sessions. And what we create is we're going to create a stamp turtles around in a circle by taking the pen up and looping 12 times. And the t.set heading sets the orientation of the turtle. And we're going I times 30, so it's the loop times 30, the loop count times 30. We're going to go forward 120, and we're going to go stamp, which is going to create a turtle stamp, and then backward 120, which is going to create our turtle shape. We're going to write some text. We're going to get the turtle to go to minus 180, minus 160, and we can get the turtle to actually write hello turtle. And we can specify the font that we want the turtle to write in, which is Arial, size 22, and it's going to be bold. We close the main loop and we can run the code. please pause the video so you can get this correct before you run this. So as you can see, wow, first of all we've got turtle stamps in a circle shape, and then we've got the words hello and turtle with an exclamation mark. The possibilities are becoming endless now. Let's experiment. Go back into the program, change the angles, change the stamp, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I've gone back in and I've changed a couple of things on the program. I've changed the loop to 40. I've changed the I times 30 to 15, so we've got more frequency of the turtles being stamped. And I've also put another stamp in after going backwards, so it should create a central part to the turtle circle. I've also gone in and I've changed the text to Turtle Workshop, boringly, and I've also gone in and changed the font just to see if the Courier font works, and I've changed it to italic and size 44. And let's run this code, see what happens. So as you can see from running the code that the turtle is more frequent because I've changed the I times 30 to 15, and we've got turtles in the middle as well. The turtle's jumped out and he's written Turtle Workshop in Courier size 44, and the text is italic as well. The ideas are becoming limitless now. Why not go back in and have a play around? Let's move on to the next workshop. So in this next program, this is exciting now, we're going to control the turtle using the keys. We're going to enter the usual lines of code to begin with, and our title this time is keyboard control. So we're assigning T to turtle.turtle, and the turtle shape is the turtle, and our speed is 0 like we usually have. The step is 20. This means every time you press a key, it's going to move forward or backward or sideways or whichever way, 20 pixels. We're going to define a subroutine called up, which is going to set the heading or with the way the turtle goes to 90 and then forward the step. And it's the same for down. We're going to set the heading to 270, which is downwards in Python Turtle, and we're going to go forward step, which is 20 pixels. We're going to define left and set the heading to 180 for the turtle to go left and forward 20 pixels. So every time you hit the left hand arrow key, the turtle goes 180, 20 pixels. And then the same for right. Set the heading to 0, which sets him on the route to 0, and he goes forward 20 pixels. And we can also set it to clear the drawing that he's done by taking the pen up, going to 0, 0, and taking the turtle pen down. We've got to type the line of code screen.listen for the keys to work, and then on the key press, up he goes up, down he goes down, left he goes left, and right he goes right. And then on the key C he clears it. We close the screen main loop and we're going to run the code. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to scroll up a little bit so you don't miss any of this. What we've got is we've got the usual lines of code at the top, and we've got the step of 20. Don't forget that in capital letters. It's got to be copied exactly how it is, and then the step has got to appear in capital letters in each of the subroutines. And then when we're calling the subroutines here, down here, we can then call them and then close the main loop as we go. If you've missed any of the code, please press pause as you type it out, and then we're going to run the program. Let's do this. So as you can see, our turtle is at 0, 0, right in the middle of the screen. If I press up multiple times, he goes up and steps 20 pixels forward. If I step left, he goes left a number of pixels, downwards a number of pixels, and then right, that 20 pixels. If I press the C key on the keyboard, it clears it and it's set for me to do another drawing. This is really becoming powerful now. Let's move on to changing some of the code. Why not? Let's do that. Let's go back in and change some of the code. and have a play around. As you can see here, I've gone back in and I'm changing my step to 50, so it's a bigger step forwards or backwards or whichever way I go. I've also defined my pen colour as blue for the setting the heading to 90, which is up. I've defined it to orange for down, and then green for left, and then right is going to be the same colour as it was before, black. Let's run the code. Okay, so what I've got here, I've got my turtle like I had before, exactly the same, nothing different so far. But hopefully if I go up, it's going to jump up a little bit further, and you can see that the line is definitely a different colour. If I go left, here you can see the line is definitely a different colour, it's green. If I go down, the colour is orange, and if I go right, the colour is still orange. If I go up, and you can see the line colour changing as I go, but it doesn't quite change immediately, which is fine. I'm going to go right. I'm a bit baffled why the line colour is orange on both of the down and the right, but we can have a play around and try and fix that. Let's move on to the next program anyway. I'm excited to do that. Okay, let's do this. So here we have our next program. In this program, we are going to program the mouse click to be functional and move the turtle shape around the screen with a line in the middle. This program title is mouse click control. T is assigned to turtle.turtle, and turtle shape is turtle again, and the speed is 0. Remember, you can change any of these variables. We're going to define a subroutine called go to click, where we've got X and Y. X and Y are coordinates on the screen, and we stamp the turtle each time we go to X and Y coordinates. We are going to use the screen.onScreenClick. This is a function in Turtle, and we're going to pass go to click into and run this subroutine where the X and Y coordinates are adhered to, and we're going to close the screen main loop, and we're going to run the code. Make sure you pause the video and enter this really accurately before you go in and run the program. So once we've run this program, we've got a similar style turtle as we had before, and I'll try and use the keys. The keys don't work this time, obviously, because I haven't programmed and I haven't done the subroutines to do that. But what I have done, I've programmed the mouse click. So whenever I click, it stamps the turtle and moves to the coordinates that I click down on, and I can then go and I can create any shape that I want to, and it follows the line. I'm going to create a sort of spider web style shape. But yeah, again, this is really powerful, and you can combine these with any of the programs that were created before to create shapes, to create artwork, and yeah, let's move on to the next program, shall we? Wow, so on this program, we're going to create an animation where we're going to create a line that moves around the screen. And I've included a few more comments in this program just to make sure that you understand what the program does. We are setting up the window like we usually do, but we've got a screen.title this time, which has changed to timed animation and on the timer. We're going to initialize the turtle like we usually do, and the turtle speed, which is the internal animation speed this time, which is 0, which is the fastest. And we're going to set the screen.tracer to 0, which turns off automatic screen updates, which creates a really smooth animation for us. We are going to create the initial state where the angle is 0, and we're going to use a global variable inside our animation or animate subroutine called global angle, which defines it inside the subroutine as well. And we are going to refresh the frame to t.clear. We've used clear before in our other programs. and we're going to draw the rotating line which goes the turtle dot pen up and go down at 0, 0, and we are going to set the heading, which is the angle that the turtle goes in, and we're going to go forward 140. We need to update the state and increment the angle to wrap around 360 degrees. So we're going to take the angle, we're going to add 5 to it, and we're going to use the modulus, which is the remainder of 360, and manually we're going to render the current frame to the screen and update the screen, because we're animating, and schedule the next frame in 50 milliseconds to 20 frames per second. So screen.onTimer, it animates, and it animates at 50 milliseconds, which is 20 frames per second, and passes these into our subroutine, which then kicks off the first call to the animation loop animate, and it keeps the window open and listens for events where we've got the screen.main loop like we usually have, and we can run the code from there. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to scroll up because I'm a fast typer, just to make sure you've got this full program. And remember, you can press pause on the video. You don't have to type the comments, but they are useful to describe what happens. This is quite complex now. We're getting into global variables, we're getting into subroutines and different types of events happening using the modulus operator, and you'll see what happens when this animates and moves around. This is getting into the realms of where we can create like a clock or something like that, using the circle, and you'll see what happens when you run it. So here you can see the arm is moving around in a nice, clean, clear animation, which is the tracer program doing this with the angle changing by 5 each time, using the modulus operator. Okay, let's move on to our next program. You can go in and you can change the values in the program, just have a play around with it. Okay, let's do this. Okay, this is our final program. This is pretty exciting. What we're going to create is we're going to create a pong game with 2 paddles, 2 player, with 2 different sets of keys, and as you hit the ball with the paddle, the speed gets faster. Each player is going to get 3 lives, and there's going to be a scoring system where each time the paddle hits the ball, you gain a point. I really wanted to visualize a game for you in Python, because Python can prove to be text-based when actually Python is really, really powerful. So without further ado, if you begin copying the code by importing the turtle, setting up the screen and the game objects, a lot of the techniques that we are covering in the game have been used in the previous programs, just in a different context. So this is your chance now to create a pretty amazing game that you can play with your friends and get pretty competitive with. So without further ado, let's crack on with it. Okay guys, thanks for watching the 60-minute live workshop. I'm not sure if it was quite 60 minutes, but hey ho, we've covered fundamentals, movement, loops, colours, events and animation. And finally there's a game for you right at the end. Please subscribe to the channel. It takes time to make the videos. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.